Hello traders. If you're like me, you love your anchored VWAPs. So I use anchored VWAP quite often to, understand where has price moved since it set some very important key level. So maybe a daily high or low, or a weekly high or low, or a weekly low or high, or an all-time high, or a market bottom of some kind. And I use anchored VWAP to look at those levels and then understand, how has price moved since then, and when and if those levels get tested, what happens. And so if you're familiar with anchored VWAP and this indicator that TradingView provides, which is awesome right here, anchored VWAP, you can find it here on this section of your toolbar under the volume-based indicator tools. There's anchored VWAP there. So with that indicator that TradingView provides, you can just drop an anchored VWAP anywhere on your chart. However, if you do that, it doesn't actually give you a label on the anchored VWAP. So you can put the plot on there. And so here, say I put it on SPY, and I've got it here now, and I can see when SPY on August 9th, remember we had the carry trade unwind, where the market plummeted down overnight, and then we had a huge bounce in the days that followed. That marked a very significant market bottom on pretty much every stock that I watch. And so I put an anchored VWAP on that level. However, as time went by and we're getting further and further away from it, I have a harder time remembering what was that anchored VWAP for. I colored it a certain way and I gave it a certain style so I'd remember it, but I don't know what exactly it was, and I've got to zoom out, especially if you're on a lower time frame. I've got to zoom out and find out, wait, what happened on that day? Oh, that was August 9th. Oh yeah, what happened? And I've got to remember, right? It's much nicer if you're able to just add a label to the plot and then you can see what it is. So that's essentially what this indicator that I've made does, is it lets you specify a level that you care about and then anchor it. So you give it a date and a time to begin that anchor, and then you can put a label on the anchor, whatever you want it to say, and then it appears that way. And you can change the label style. You can have it appear as an actual label instead of just plain text like this. You can give it a different color. You can plot, if you still want to style it, of course you can. Change it however you want to change it. And you can even, adjust how far away from the current price the label appears, and all that. So it's a super useful tool. Another thing to mention is, right now, if I had dropped an anchored VWAP on this chart, it would only appear on this chart, right? So that's just the nature of how it works. So if I drop an anchor, say here on Friday, September 6th, and then here that anchored VWAP appears, and then I go change to something else, like let's say AVGO, it doesn't appear here because I haven't dropped that anchor on this chart. However, if I have indicators on my template in the form of this new tool that I've made, then I can actually have as many as I want, and they will actually appear on every chart that you look at. Now, this could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. So for market moments, like key market moments, like the 2022 bottom, that's something you probably want to see on every single chart. And so it's really great to have this indicator that now, if you add this indicator to your screen, it will appear on every single chart, and you'll always be able to see for any ticket that you're looking at, where is price relative to that key moment in the market. It might also happen that maybe you have something that happens that's only important to tech, like maybe the XLK ETF, and you want to see how all tech names are related to that. Or maybe you have something that's specifically important for semiconductors, right? You want to mark a key moment that happened on SMH, and then have that key moment also appear on stocks like NVIDIA or AVGO or AMD or TSM or whatever semiconductors you care about. Well, this indicator gives you a way to do that too. By default, you don't specify any symbols and it'll appear on every chart. But if you want to filter an anchored VWAP to a specific set of symbols, you just do it as a comma delimited list. So let's say for this 2022 bottom, if I only wanted it to appear for AVGO and NVIDIA and AMD and SMH, then I would do that. And it should stay here because I just did it for AVGO. But let's go back to, say, SPY. and now it doesn't appear anymore because it realizes this is not an indicator or this is not a symbol that you wanted to have the indicator appear on. So you can see on this template that I'm currently on, I have a bunch of anchored VWAPs dropped on this, and you're only seeing 3 of them. That's because the other ones are filtered to specific symbols that I want them to appear on. So anyway, that's it. In a nutshell, you can now have labels on your anchored VWAPs, so you don't have to remember by color or style or thickness of the line what it means. So this is super important and useful for key moments. I hope you guys like it, and yeah, leave some feedback or in the comments. Let me know what you think.